Okay guys, so the very first step in a restoration of a driveway is to clean the concrete. So I'm going to apply an eco-friendly degreaser that'll help aid in removing the tire marks, and we always pressure wash in two different directions. You'll notice first we go from side to side, and then we'll go up and down, top to bottom. And by doing that with the surface cleaner, sometimes the surface cleaner will leave marks in the concrete, and by going in two different directions that will help to eliminate those. So apply your degreaser, clean the concrete, and also by cleaning it and then letting it dry, it's kind of like having a canvas. You want the cleanest possible surface before you apply F9 bark. So the F9 will get into the concrete, soak down into the pores, and remove some of those deep stains. Okay, the degreaser's been applied. I switched to my surface cleaner. Now I'm going to surface clean the concrete in two different directions. that's all there is to the pre-cleaning process. Our next step, I'm going to switch back to my wand and rinse everything down. Now that we have surface cleaned it, 2 directions, rinse it off, the next step is just to keep patient. We need to let the concrete dry up. It's really important on a concrete surface that the concrete is dry. If it's damp, it can sometimes the results won't come out as good as if it's perfectly dry. So if you have a blower or fan, at this point it can help. Otherwise you can go in your truck, call some customers for 10-15 minutes and let it dry up before we apply the F9. Getting there. In a few minutes this will be all dried up, and this is what the stains look like now. So with the cleaning of it, the surface cleaning, we probably got about 20 or 30% of the stain already, and by doing that, that's less battery burn that the F9 is going to have to react with, so your results are ultimately going to be better with less product when you clean it like that. When you're spraying F9, a couple good options. If you don't have access, or you don't do this a whole lot, you just want to apply it here or there. 2-gallon pump-up sprayer, like the Eliminator, Garden Plus series are good. But the most important part on the sprayer is your tip. And this is a conical tip, and that's what I use because it has a big hole at the top and it doesn't jam up, doesn't clog up a whole lot. They're easy to maintain, easy to clean, versus the I don't know what you call them, like the flat spray types of tips. Those ones clog up pretty easy, and it's harder to get the material to the concrete in an equal fashion. So that's our tip. The professional spray system I use is just a Yamada pump. So that guy right there, I have a little plastic hose reel, 60 feet of hose on there, and that guy is hooked up to my compressor, which is just your typical compressor you get at Home Depot or Lowe's, and that way there's no metal moving parts in this, and I just put it in there, pull it out, and stick the hose, this one here, stick that hose down to my 5-gallon bucket that I put my F9 in, and away I go. Alright, the machine's fired up. We're ready to spray F9, and I'm going to try to get a close-up so you can see what it looks like when I'm actually spraying. And you'll notice I go a little bit heavier on the areas with staining, and I cover the whole surface of the concrete even if it doesn't have stain on it, and that's just to keep the color more even throughout the whole surface of the concrete. So got to do this one-handed here, so bear with me. I don't know if you can see in the video, but it turns white. It has an instant white foam, and if your concrete's clean, that's what you'll get. And I apply just enough to cover the stain, and you get a white, kind of a white foam over the top of it. Just try to keep everything nice and even. Here we have a little more stains. It's okay to go over it twice. There's some stain there. And personal protection. We've got rubber gloves on and a respirator proof for acids. See how it foams white? Here's some stain. Apply a little bit more on the orange so it foams nice and white. That's it. And when it dries up, it won't be, it won't dry even, because there's some areas that are hotter or colder, and it's just going to evaporate at different rates. But what you will notice is that over the orange burn, the chemical will sit there for longer, so it'll kind of appear to be more wet longer than some of the other spots. I'm gonna go put this over back by the trailer, and so you can see the whole job done real quick. First coat, guys. All done. Okay, the first coat we put out in there has dried, and look already. We probably have 99% of these stains already removed. This is where some of the worst of it was right in there. So that's pretty impressive for the first coat of F9. And actually, I diluted this. I put a half gallon of water into 1 gallon of F9 for these battery stains here. It's coming out pretty good. I just see a little bit, some staining left here. So normally for battery stains I go ahead and do 2 coats. Just been my experience, most of the time we can get 70 to 90% of those stains off the first time, and the second time we can get another 20 or 30%. So I'm going to apply 1 more coat. After that second coat has dried, which right now it's good enough, it's about 95% there, so it's really important. This is a very important last step to make sure the entire job comes out evenly. What I'm going to do is fire up the pressure washer, put a light mist of water on the concrete and work in sections. I'm going to take a stiff bristled broom and broom the material back over and into the concrete. So if you have real deep stains, what this does is it thins out the product, so it aids in penetration into the concrete to get the deepest of the stains out. And also if there's any salts that purge to the surface, it'll help loosen those, and then I'll go ahead and rinse everything off. You know, I want to show you something here too. With golf cart stains, because they travel so far deep into the concrete, the nature of them is that when concrete's wet, it's kind of like a crystal ball. You can see farther into the concrete. So, you know, these stains here, what we're seeing, they're probably half an inch or deeper into the concrete, or a quarter inch or deeper into the concrete. Now when this concrete dries, it's going to turn back to gray. So you see those stains down there. There's a little bit of a battery stain there, and a couple up on top. So you need to tell your customers that, hey, when the concrete's wet, you can see farther into it. When it dries, we'll be at, I usually promise my customers 85 to 95% removal. That way when you come out at 95 to 100%, they're pretty happy. So under promise and over deliver, you'll be in business for quite a while. Hey, here's the after. Remember, we had the stains that came, the orange battery burn stains that came down the driveway on this left hand side. They came all the way down here and down into the curb. Right up here on the left hand side there was a big old orange stain. That's gone, 99.99%. All of the stains that were in here gone, 99.99%. And after the process of the F9 BARC, the battery acid restoration cleaner, the concrete is more uniform in color, tire marks are gone, battery burn's gone, looks beautiful, looks just like the day it was poured or better. Signing off, it's Craig with F9 Restoration, and the product we use today is F9 BARC. The number toll free is 855-803-1133.